Hello and welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video here on the channel. I hope everybody's having a great day. So one of my favorite champions in the game has to be Mishinaki when you talk about the Hydra boss, bringing in the Hex debuff, decreased defense, all of that damage and the burns, you name it. He does a phenomenal job in my Nightmare team. But then I was actually trying to make some improvements to my Brutal one as well as my Hards, and I don't really have a second Mishinaki to play that role, right? And of course, there is many other Hex champions in the game that can do a really good job, but it's just about trying to find the ones that performs the best and synergizes well with the champions that I have on my account. So one option that I've seen was Moranix, who I've actually been underestimating for years at this point since she came out as a fusion. So I really can't wait to push the limits of her once I get CVC coming around and I can put some more books on the champion. But in the meantime, I seen that I wanted a decreased defense to pair up with my weakened champion in Oboro the Destroyer, who puts in some crazy work as well. And then I seen that Oboro places it on her A1. And I was like, maybe she can be like a budget Mishinaki in a sense in a Hex set and pump out some crazy damage, because I've only ever seen her used in some videos out there in like a 9-piece Slayer. But I'm not somebody that buys all of the forge passes, so I don't have any of the accessories to get that 9-set bonus for that repetitive attack, right? So I've actually built her in Hex, and I've actually got a +4 now. My initial run was on a +3, so I've got 3 different run results that I can show you guys. And she really shocked me, and I cannot believe that she was in my vault for this amount of time. Like, she's got good multipliers, great for Hydra, AoE A1. It just opens the opportunity for so many sets. And she even does some crazy damage on these decapitated heads if you switch round to that A3 and A2 for single targets. So the way that I've actually been using her is just spamming the heck out of the A1. It's a lot more auto-viable, although I get a lot more better results when I keep an eye on things, target the right heads, because Hydra can be a nuisance in the way that champions focus on certain heads, right? Like right now, the ally attack would have been going onto a alive head instead of the decapitated one, and we're losing a lot of that bonuses, especially with the Hex damage. So while this is running in the background, it's actually a pre-recording because I spent 6 hours yesterday trying to get some recordings right. Let's just briefly talk about the champions. Can I take this off? There we go. Like, what kind of YouTuber are you, YST? Well, here she is, Oboro. What is she bringing to the table? Well, as I mentioned, she has got a decreased defense A1 at a 50% chance once booked. And because she's just going to be cycling this and pairing it with ally attack as well, it's just always going to be up for the entirety of the fight, right? The more you can place it. But then we'll attack all enemies instead if the target is under 4 or more debuffs. And if there's one area in the game where we're going to be having that, it's going to be the Hydra boss, so we're going to be seeing this a lot. But one way that I use it is, I ensure that when a head is decapitated, I just focus on another head that's already got the debuffs active, so she can place those debuffs, or as an AoE as well, onto that decapitation one. On this Mystic Smoke, she has a 2-time hitter with a chance of transferring debuffs from this champion to her target. I feel like one of the things to note is the stealing of buffs. So let's just say Head of Mischief steals one of your champions and, you know, you get 3% resisted if you've got the resist stats. It's just a great way to go back, steal them back so they don't spread them to the other heads, or taking the increased attack away from Head of Wrath. So there's many ways you could use this if you just pay attention to your run. And then also an increased crit rate and increased crit damage on this champion, as well as a perfect veil when killing an enemy, or if the attack is critical, sorry. So, you know, you could build her with 70% crit rate as long as you use this skill. But the way that I built her, I've just got 100% to just spam that A1 like I mentioned before. She's actually got some self-protection as well, because a revive on death on this champion for 3 turns whenever a veil or perfect veil goes up, that's huge. And because she's doing it herself, you don't have to rely on other champions to fulfill that role for her. So the way that I do it is, let's just say I take a really big smack, we get critted in a bad situation, and I'm like, damn, I've got no other revivers in my team to pick her back up. Well, I actually just use this skill, leading to this one, we get the revive on death, and it's just a way of bringing her back to life once she falls. So it's actually really nice to have this in a passive. We got an aura for dungeon attack by 33%, and I've gone with a cruelty blessing because of all of that A1 AoEs, right? So as I mentioned, I've actually gone with Hex to play the role as a budget Missionarchy, and I don't have the Slayer set, although I'll speak about some other ones that's very viable. But yeah, just giving us a 50% chance to place a Hex debuff, actually the same chance as it is to place a decreased defense. So, you know, the more that she can hit, the more times you've got a chance to place that. We have actually put some good damage in her. We got crit damage on the gauntlets here. We've got attack percent on that chest plate with some speed and speed on the boots. We've got an accuracy on that banner to ensure we can place our debuffs. Crit damage on the amulet as well as attack on the ring with attack percent substats. Mastery wise, I have chosen to go to the War Master and also the Life Drinker to heal by 5% of the damage inflicted when attacking with 50% HP or less. Just in case, right? If she falls short. And then we got the support tree going down to the Cycle of Magic, just in case I want to keep using that A3 or A2 against decapitated heads. And then we got the Master Hexer to extend the value of those debuffs so they don't wear off as easily. As well as the Sniper to give us a better chance to, you know, place that decreased defense from that A1 ability. So yeah, that's the way that I built her. So what is the most popular ones? And you guys can let me know in the comment section below for anyone with a 9-piece Slayer how effective it is. But from what I've been seeing on certain videos out there, I think from Tairaku, she does some crazy damage once you get this bonus because you get crit rate, crit damage, speed, turn meter fills 5% for first hit on each enemy from AoE attacks. Then we get ignore defense as well, 30%, and then a chance to deal additional damage from AoE skills. So that could be a really cool one to consider if you've got the accessory pieces and you've been buying the Forge Pass. Also, let's just say you've got Hex in your team. You're not like me. You're not looking for that role for your team. You could go Merciless, right? Merciless is a great shout with a 6-set bonus for 35% ignore defense, as well as a lot of good stats along the way. You could go the Savage, the Lethals. All of those ignore defense effects are going to be very powerful in this champion, because if I just bring up the website very briefly, can we find it? Man, I'm so bad with this. do you know what it is, guys? I've got an ultra-wide monitor, right? So I can't just, like, snap a screen up. I have to set up the scenes beforehand. But that's a me problem. I still can't find it. There we go. So if we just go into the damage multipliers, the A3 is coming out as a godlike. Wait, can I scroll down a little bit? There we go. Godlike in a Hydra, 240th there, at a 5.6 multiplier. We've also got a godlike here at 3.15 2-time hitter, which is performing very well in Hydra, as you see. And then we've got a 2.6, a 4.2 with the strong here. So pretty nice damage coming out from the A1 as well. But like I said, the main thing that I'm using her for is the debuffs, and the damage is just a bonus. So let's just head straight back into this run, and this one was actually on the Brutal, but I ran one when she was only a +3, and the gear on my VAR was absolutely trash. I'm talking HP percent chest plates and HP percent accessories. It was just not built for damage whatsoever, because he's someone that I've newly added to my Hydra teams, and I've been underestimating him as well. There's a lot of that going on, right? As you can tell. But all of that Hex damage, the 10% from the single targets, the 2% spread damage from the AoEs, you can see all of those ticks going onto the ones that has the Hex active, right? And that's really going to add so much damage to the run overall. We've also got block buffs and the decreased accuracy coming out from Jing 1. And let's just say Head of Wrath provokes us. He actually has a passive that can remove that from our team. So it's a great way to just get back into our rotation. We've also got a Vaal for the damage, the decreased attack, and the weaken. That's going to coincide with Oboro's decreased defense, which is great. And then she's just going to be popping out that damage over and over and over again. And it's such an auto-friendly champion as long as you can keep her alive if you only want to use her A1. And then we've got Grand Oak Padre for ally attacks to ensure the debuffs can place more. I think I was just testing some single target damage stuff here. You can see even as the AoE, like over 200k a pop, it's not too bad, right? And then Nekmo Far is actually my provoke set champion because I don't have a dedicated provoker. And it's a bit RNG based, granted. But because he's got so many AoE attacks, just like Oboro, it does place quite a lot, as you see on one of the heads there, on Head of Decay. The decreased accuracy is actually very strong. It stops all of those poisons coming through all the time, or our buffs getting stolen from Mischief, especially being on the brutal difficulty. It's just something that I really like bringing in. And I do it for Pharaoh the Barkhorn as well in my main Hydra team. So it's definitely a debuff that I say don't underestimate if you're struggling with the effects that the bosses are doing. So we just got eaten there, damn. And also the Hex is something that you want to target the Head of Mischief, right? Because let's just say you get one of your champions devoured, you want to be able to target them to get those champions back. And then Inquisitor Shamel is just here to counter the Head of Torment, because I didn't want to use someone like a Duchess Lilitu in this run. And yeah, pretty cool. So let's see some of those debuffs ramping up here. And you can see so far, like halfway through the run, we're at 300 million damage, guys. 300 million. And a lot of that is coming out from Oboro with a true damage and also a Hex. Like, I would love to see this in like a Merciless build or, you know, ignore defense effects with Helm Smasher or something. I'm pretty sure with those multipliers we've seen, we could see some crazy damage coming out from Oboro. I'm just so annoyed that I slept on her for so long. So long, and she's literally gone into this team and doubled my Hydra Clash for Brutal, which is nice. So I think at the start here, I did something where I was just showcasing the single targets for damage, in a sense, just to see how well it can do. So here, let's just go boom. Look at that. We're placing the decreased defense, the Hex. And also that decapitation debuff there at the top can add to our debuffs as well to hit all enemies. Look at that. See all of that damage there we're getting from that Hex? It's huge, right? Nice. A1s. Boom. Look at that. 1 million coming out from Val. I'm pretty sure I did it, guys. I think, was it around here? I'm going to try and capture it. I might have tested it on this head. I basically just took control at that time. It could be this one here. Come on, Oboro. Or come on, YST. Where did you do it? Let's see, if I take it off auto here. Oh, that panic. Okay, it was here, guys. So right here, boom, 800,000. And that's without ignore defense, like I keep banging on about, and no Helm Smasher. I can imagine that going to double that in the most optimal gear if I'm going for just pure damage and I've got another Hex option. So 800k is actually pretty nice to come out from the A3 with all of the self buffs as well. I like it. Then I think I tested the A2 as well for the double hit. So here we go. Oh, no, I didn't. I think I did it at some point. I should have. Nope. Okay, maybe I didn't. I'm pretty sure I did it at some point, but it did around 300 and something thousand. I think it was about 700,000 in total per hit. Oh, here we go. We're using it here. 36A, 361, about 700k. It's pretty decent from that A2 as well. So, yeah, if you do want to kind of benefit from the single target procs, then you could just take control, right? Or use it as your presets. Just going through this first run because we've got a few to talk about. Let's see the end result of this one. No. So we had 38 million on a Nekbo Far. Can I move myself out of the way? There we go. That's just basically War Master hits. And then we had Oboro at 193 million. Of course, a lot of that is coming from the Hex and then just her raw damage as well. But even just raw damage, like, she pops out a lot, especially from the stuff that I've seen around the community. And she's now +4, so I'm excited about that, getting all of those bonus stats. A 3-star blessing so far. So once we get to 6-star, we can start popping off some crazy stuff, right? Jing 1 is going at 31 million, Padre at 10, Inquisitor 101, and 187 million on Val the Destroyer. And if you was wondering how much damage that we did with the +3 Oboro with only the 2-star blessing, we had 180 million, so we're about 13 million less than before in that previous run. And then we had 135 million on Val instead, and then 84 on Inquisitor. So a little bit less. So the gear that I made definitely added almost 100 million to my run, which is great, right? So yeah, I guess there were so many bad things that happened in this run, like Poison Clouds went up and then the Cleansers went out when we never got the Provoke out. So there was definitely room for improvement. I think we could have got to over 600 million. As you see in this situation, look at that. We're just trying to kill them through the Hex procs. As you see, it's like, please, can we kill the head of Rafi? Oboro was almost down. It was so close at times. And I was like, damn, do I have to re-record this? So yeah, it's just paying note to what's going on, and maybe a better Provoker could make this more consistent here. So before I did the testings for the brutal difficulty, which I feel like Oboro is going to be staying in for a pretty long time looking forwards, I actually tested it in Nightmare as well, and I tried it with a Missionarchy and also a Oboro, because I was just anxious to see how much damage that it was doing in comparison, right? And we've also got Lady Mikage for that A1 to bring in the Shadowkin champions to use their attacks, and it's just ensuring she gets more AoEs here. And also with Harima, who's also Shadowkin. So they're kind of sharing that, the A1 of Lady Mikage. But she did some phenomenal damage, and we're also getting that damage boost from Firo with that 20% bonus there. So yeah, we're actually seeing some crazy numbers here. Look at this. We're getting the heads down all of the time. Go all the way here. I guess we'd have to see the entire run, but it was very similar to what she was doing in the brutal difficulty. So can we just stop it right at the end? Nope, I keep messing it up. And we did 825,232 coming out from Oboro. This was when she was +3 as well. Harima with 429 million, and then also 95 million on Gallius that everybody seems to hate nowadays. But I love using this champion in my team. Lady Mikage doesn't have any books on the ally attack, so that's still on a 4 or 5 turn cooldown, wherever it is without books. And then Easter Dream Song doing some nice damage as well. So yeah, is she Nightmare viable? I would say alongside the right synergy and team to keep her alive. Yeah, for sure. Like, this one was a lot more safer than the brutal run I did. A lot more support in the team. So yeah, definitely viable here. And then in terms of the Mishinaki damage, he did 334. So way above, like over 100 million, right? In terms of Oboro, which you'd expect from a legendary champion. But she still performs very well as a hex option, decreased defense, and single target damage where you need it. But I guess this team here with the Mishinaki, it can exceed over 1 billion. I just got unlucky with some of the poison clouds and stuff throughout the run. So yeah, that was Oboro in terms of the Hydra boss, if I could take this off now. And I did want to kind of re-gear her for some arena stuff, something that I've not done at all yet. So for anyone that's made it this far into the video, stay tuned. We're going to be having some fun. So I've just switched around the gear a little bit to ignore some defense. I've also gone Helm Smasher on the Masteries, and hopefully she can do some pretty good damage now in arena. We're just going to have a bit of fun with it. And I just realized I don't think I showed you the overall stats for the initial build. Like, you could probably catch it on the right a little bit, but I didn't deep dive into it fully. So I am going to re-gear her again and waste some more resources to make sure that you guys get all of that information. My apologies. I get carried away at times when I'm excited about a champion. So let's just go into, I don't know, what's this? Uncle Steve. Let's do it. We're going to bring in the Lady Mikage to come through with those A1s again as well. So, boom. Play some sleeps. This is our decreased defense and weaken as well, so just bear that in mind here. So we just go an ally attack on the Yumiko. Nice. So can we take her out? Pow! 66,000. We now got that revive on death as well, which is cool. Get a hex on you. We should be bringing in a... Let's go ally attack. Can we take you out? We got the decreased defense now, which is cool. Let's try that A2. Reset them. Actually, no, let's use that A3 again. Pow. Oh, nearly 91,000 there. That was nice. All right, let's just do... Oh, no. Let's do AoEs now. Leave it on auto. See what she does. Ally attack. Boom. So some pretty good damage numbers coming out the board. Like, it wasn't insanely crazy, but 226,000. Not too bad for an epic champion here, right? So let's try this team next with a Lidded Death Siren, and hopefully we can outspeed them. Yes, let's go. Let's play some sleep. No, don't decrease attack her. Damn it. Decrease defense. We're going to try and ramp up those debuffs because we need 4, right? Is the hex on you? We could just save it for now. Can we get some more debuffs? Okay, so we got 4 here, so we should be able to if we target him. AoE. Nice. Which is a bit hard to kind of ramp up in arena, right? No, she's down. Let's go for a round 2. No. Where is he? We need to go for a round 2 here. All right. Let's lock them out. Sleep. Increase defense and weaken. All right. He didn't resist it this time, which is great. Let's get a hex on you. We could kind of do the A1 again, but let's not do it for now. Send back that decreased attack. Let's go. Trunder's attacking the Prince Kaimor as well. Let's take out the U. Nice. 80,000. We're now hiding ourselves with that perfect veil. Form of protection. It's working out cool for our team. So this one was a little bit of a less tanky one. Let's see what she does on full auto. We haven't got any presets here. Ninja Arts. Pow. 121,000. Pretty decent numbers, right? Not too bad. Lastly, let's just try this one. if we can outspeed them again, which will be nice. Sleep. Perfecto. We could, it depends if she's going to sleep her or not. Can we take out the Siffy here? Boom, 132,000 on that one. Let's go. Could have been a Helm Smasher proc. Get Hex on you. Reset. We really want to get that decreased defense on the Duchess Lilitu so we can take them out, right? Boom. Knocked them out again. Let's take out the Duchess, hopefully. Nice, 164 on that one. That's more like it. Let's go Oboro. So is it a champion that I would use in Arena? Probably not. I'm not going to sacrifice my best gear to put it on her for Arena. But, you know, I'm thinking about Centranos, Faction Wars, the Hydra like we showcased today. They're the kind of areas that I will be using my Oboro. But let me just briefly switch up the gear again just to make sure I can show you guys the base stats from the initial build. Let's do it. So in terms of Oboro's total stats from the initial Hydra runs, she's going at 45,000 HP for some nice survivability, 5.8k attack, 2.6k defense, 220 speed to just cycle that A1 as much as possible, and 100% crit rate and 284% crit damage. But once again, if you are using that A3, you could tone this down to 70% and still be able to crit. We got a nice resistance because when Head of Mischief is trying to steal some buffs from her, we do have decreased accuracy, and that should alleviate that from ever occurring. And then 333 accuracy to place our debuffs. And once again, in that Hex set. Some of the other builds that I was using was Lady Mikage, primarily for like Arena and stuff. Stone Skin / Feral and an off-piece set here for the speed ascension bonus. And the Feral's actually giving us a bit of accuracy as well. And she's going at 329 speeds. But I do not have the cooldown of the ally attack yet, so I can probably see a lot more results in my Nightmare team in the future. And then we got, who else did I use today? We had Grand Oak Pardrake in a reflex build, and it's primarily for my Fire Knight Hard going at 305 speed, and it's just for the ally attack, the restoration of HP, the increased speed, and the turn meter fills. So he does a great job for my teams, as we've seen today. Mishinaki, I actually took off the accessories and put it onto Oboro because it's some of the best ones on my account, but I'm just going back and forth at the moment, but sooner rather than later, Oboro should have her own ones once I get some good ascension rolls for my crit damage on the amulet, and also for the accuracy with some speed, right? But yeah, works very well in lethal gear overall. Gallius Bloodcrest is in a Savage / counterattack set with the retaliation, and he's just for the provokes, the counterattacks, the Revive on death, increased defense, full restorations like the Pardrake, and I just use him in his base form, and he does a great job for my team. Even though that he's apparently one of the worst mythicals out there, I still have a lot of fun with my Gallius, for sure. Nekmo Far is in a Provoke set at the moment, and he's got nearly 100% crit rate. Decent crit damage, mainly just the speed and stuff, and accuracy to place our effects, and increased speed, turn meter fills, leech debuffs. This is what was truly keeping us alive in our brutal run, right? And then we had a Jing Won who is in just perception build overall, fast as possible, and he's placing the block buffs and the increasing duration of debuffs, as well as the removing of buffs as well, and decreased accuracy and some strengthen to survive some of those hits. Inquisitor Shamail, he was initially in a random build for speed, but I decided to go on a bit more damage here. So 220 speed, nice crit damage, and a way to survive with some cool resistance as well. In a lethal gear for his A1 to deal some more damage as well. I didn't use Whisper at all. Avada Destroyer, I guess. I changed him into a 6-piece Merciless. So just gives us a bit extra speed, ignore defense, chance to reduce cooldowns to pop out at A2 more consistently, or the A3 here, which hits very, very hard. But the main thing is decrease attack and weaken to coincide with a decreased defense from Oboro, right? Which is very important. And was there any other ones? I'm just thinking that I showcased today. I think that was them all, right? If I'm not mistaken. I need to go and look into my Hydra teams now to see who I used. Hydra, let's see. Still need to do my Nightmare one for this week now, so yeah, we showed all of these ones. Phil the Barkhorn's in a protection set. We can check him out in Earstrades. Yeah, let's go quickly look at those then. I think Earstrade's also in a... Yeah, so she's in Reflex as well, going really fast with the accuracy. And then Phil the Barkhorn, I'm trying to get a 9-piece protection to get that bonus because we get a chance to place protected buffs and allies deal 5% more damage for each buff placed on the wearer. So because he's already placing 2 buffs, It's going to be phenomenal once we get that extra bonus there. But yeah, guys, on that note, that is going to be all for today's video. If you did find it enjoyable, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Is Oboro a champion you're going to start using if you've not used it before? And I'll catch you all on a video soon. Peace.